What's up, Pythonistas? Let's create some art. We're going to use the turtle library inside of Python, which is actually great to create generative or geometric art. Let's go. Usually I start with Googling for some inspiration, and sometimes I just YOLO it and play around with the lines, colors, and angles. Okay, so let's head over to Google and type geometric art and see what we find. So once I find something I like, I can use it as a basis for inspiration. So this is basically what I came up with. The grid system in Procreate gives me the proper guidance to create the shapes properly, make sure the lines are straight and stuff. And it also helps me plotting the coordinates, which I'm gonna need when I'm going to start drawing inside of Python. So there are different ways to draw in Python. I'm gonna use the go-to method inside Turtle, which is based on the coordinates, which basically tells the pen which coordinates to go to. So I'm gonna head over to VS Code and create my Python file first. So the first thing that we do is basically set up our file, import the library Turtle, and define some basic variables and objects. I like the background screen to be black, so I'm going to set it to black, and I'll keep the pen color white for now. So once everything is set up, let's head over to Turtle and test out if our code works. Cool, we've drawn our first line. So looking at our sketch, we're drawing a tilted square first, and I could basically pick any of the corners to start. So I'll basically pick the corner on the left first. A quick side note before I start, the coordinates in the sketch are just guidelines. It roughly tells on which side of the x-axis I am, so negative on the left, positive on the right. I'll leave a link in the description down below how the x and y axes work inside Turtle and how the coordinate system works. So the pen starts inside Turtle at the coordinate 0.0, and from there you have to navigate and tell the pen where to go. And the first thing I'm going to tell the pen is to not draw yet, but first lift the pen up, go to the coordinate and put the pen down. And we can see what it looks like. Whoops, forgot to mention the O, it's not got, but go to. So here you can see the pen move to the left because on the x-axis I went 100 points negative, which means 100 points to the left, and I remained on the same level because the y-axis I put a 0, so I didn't go up. So now that I have my pen at the right position, we're going to draw the tilted square. I've written the code for the square, let's see what it looks like. Something went wrong here. Let's have a look. This should have been a negative. Cool. Got it. So now that I've drawn my square, I'm going to draw the outside shapes. They're sort of two rectangles tilted opposites of each other. Alright, these are the outer shapes done. Let's see how that looks. Awesome. So now that we have our rectangle, tilted rectangle, and the outer shapes, all we need to do is the inner lines. So I'm going to take a look at my sketch. First I need to pick a starting point, and then I basically need to draw 3 lines. So I can see in the sketch that the lines that start in the middle go to opposite ends, and they end up in the middle of the lines of the square. So this gives me a rough idea on what the end coordinates are for these 2 lines, and I can translate them into my code. Cool, that looks pretty good. But as you can see, after I've drawn everything, the line that you can see the pen or the turtle icon, and we can actually hide that. So let's do that. Awesome. Now basically we've got our shape and we've got our design ready. We can start playing around with colors. Now at the start, I've written turtle.color mode, and this allows us to use RGB color codes. So I basically want a different color for all the outer lines versus the inner lines, and that's how I'm going to divide it. I'm going to pick a couple of colors for that. If you type in Google Rgb Color Picker, it helps you get the codes for the color that you want. Over here in the bottom left corner, you can see actually the RGB values for whatever color you pick. I'm going to go ahead and pick a couple of colors and then show you guys the result. Alright, so I'm done. Basically what I've done is I've set up a couple of variables that my pen color method will use as an input for red, green, and blue different variables. And over here you can see all the colors that I tried out. And I've split it into 2, one for the outer lines, which is the first one. And then when I scroll down, you can see I've done the same for the inner lines, where I divide variables for the inner red, inner green, inner blue, and put them as an input for the pen color method that then uses that color for the inner lines. So to show you guys how this looks, I'm just going to run the code over here. And this is basically what it looks like with a teal purple color. I will post this code on GitHub if you guys want to play around with the code. See you guys in the next video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. But more importantly, now go and code some Python.